In our exercise today, we have an example of a really simple blogging tool. So the blogging tool starts off with the form tag, which has the action attribute pointing to the computer script that's going to process the blog entry. There is a new tag pair that we've introduced called field set. And what field set does is field set creates a kind of a box around the various different form fields that are inside of the field set. And this is for both accessibility and usability purposes. It makes it easier for the person filling out the form to understand what the various different chunks of information are being requested. In this case, the field set has a legend called Your Information, where the person filling out the blog entry is supposed to enter in your name and their email address. The other thing that we've put in there is we've put in the label tag. And what the label tag does is the label gives a label to the form field that we want. So in this case here it says label for equals your name 1, and then your name, and then slash label. And then in the input tag it says input type equals text, name equals your name, ID equals your name 1. What this means is that anytime somebody either clicks on the form field itself, so the box where they could type in their name, or the words your name, the form field will come into focus, so they will be able to type in. This is really important for dealing with mobile devices, because on a cell phone and on a tablet, it sometimes is difficult to tap into the specific form field. And if you can give your visitor a bigger area in which to type in, or rather to select the form field, this makes it an easier situation for them to fill out the form. So there is also then the label for your email 1 with your email, input type equals email, name equals your email with the ID of your email 1. So again, as they're typing in, they could either tap on the words your email, or they could click on the form field and type in their email address. Then we have an HR, which again is just that straight line across the page, used to just kind of visually mark off content. We have a paragraph, and we say label for equals subject 1, subject slash label, input type equals text, name equals subject, ID equals subject 1. So again, they could just type in the subject in the subject field, or they could tap on the word subject and be able to type in the subject. And then we have label for equals message 1, message, close label, text area, name equals message, ID equals message 1, calls equals 100, rows equals 4, slash text area. So there is a 100 column by row text area in which they can type in their message. And then submit to submit the post, and reset to reset and start over if they want to. And here is the PHP script that processes the form. So the first thing that the PHP, to know about PHP, is that you always start PHP with the PHP delimiter, which is the less than, and then question mark, and then PHP. And then you end it with a question mark and then a greater than symbol. And one of the cool things about PHP is that you can escape out of into PHP and then write in your PHP scripts, and then escape out of PHP and write in some HTML, and then you can escape back into PHP and write your PHP script and then escape out of it, and so on, so that you don't have to all of the various different scripting parts of it can be all inside of the same file. So in this case, the first thing I did is I defined a bunch of variables. I defined the variable your name, your email, message, subject, and to, and from, and today, and stored message. So I defined your name to be the data from the script from the variable your name sent using the post method and then using the strip slashes command. What strip slashes does is strip slashes if the visitor uses an apostrophe or any other illegal character, by default, PHP will put a slash in front of it. So if their name was O'Flattery, it would show up as O/apostrophe/flattery. But you don't want that. You want it just to be O'Flattery. So if you do strip slashes, that will get rid of the slashes. Then I did the same thing with your name, or sorry, your email. So it's your email. And then I defined message as being from the message and defined subject as being from the subject. Then I defined the to field to be the your name with the your email inside of greater than and less than symbols because that is the syntax in an email. And then I defined from as the same. And I defined today as today's date. And then I defined stored message as today from, and then that /n, the backward /n, means go on to a new line. Subject, whatever the subject is, go on to a new line. Message, whatever the message is, on a new line, 3 dashes, and then a new line. In PHP, to put in a comment, it's with 2 /. The command mail allows you to send email. The first argument is wherever you're sending it to. The second argument is whoever the subject is, or whatever the subject is of the email. The third argument is the message. And then the fourth argument is all of the other email attributes that you want. So one of the things that people want to have in email is usually from, but you could also put in the attachments, you could put in the importance level. All of those fields in email that aren't the to, the subject, and the message are the miscellaneous choices. And in PHP, on the mail command, you put in all of those miscellaneous choices into one argument. In this case, I only wanted from, so I defined the argument as from. And you'll notice on the right that I did in fact get that email. The second thing that it does is it takes the contents of message and stores it to a text file called blog.txt, which is a text-only database. And the way that this works is that, first of all, I defined a variable called fp, and I gave as its value fopen, which means to open the file. It's going to open the file called blog.txt and to append whatever data is put into it. In order for that to happen, it needs to be fwrite. So fwrite stands for file write. Fopen means file open. So it fwrites the opened blog.txt file and puts in stored message. And then it's closed. So the way that you put data into a database is you open up the database, in this case the text file. You put in the data by writing it, and then you close it. And that appended the message that I wrote in that database. And then the final thing is that it put a response to the screen saying, thank you for submitting a blog posting as the title of the web page. And in the body it says your blog was submitted, here's what you wrote. And then it echoed the from and echoed the message with the stored message. And you'll notice that I'm using the pre tag. Pre stands for pre-formatted text. Because normally when you are putting in content, if there are a whole bunch of spaces, those spaces get smushed into a single space. Well, I wanted to keep the spaces. And that's what the pre tag does, is that it allows you to keep the spaces as it's written. So that is blog.php. Next week, what we'll do is we will talk about meta tags and search engine optimization and iframes and video. We'll talk about internal links, also known as skip to links. So when you go to a web page and it says jump to the top of the page and you click on it and it jumps to the top of the page, we'll show you how to do that. And we'll also have time to work on your final project and to answer any and all questions that you have about anything that you might have. All right, see you next time.